the presidential debate highlights. I took a nap earlier and I haven't seen anything, so.
What you have said and done so far, and what you have said you would do starting in 2021, why should the American people trust you more than your opponent to deal with this public health crisis going forward? In this case, the question goes to you first, sir. 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Good luck. 200,000 dead. As you said, over 7 million infected in the United States. We, in fact, have 5%, 4% of the world's population, 20% of the deaths. 40,000 people a day are contracting COVID. In addition to that, about between 750 and 1,000 people a day are dying. When he was presented with that number, he said, it is what it is. Well, it is what it is because you are who you are. That's why it is. The president has no plan. He hasn't laid out anything. He knew all the way back in February how serious this crisis was. He knew it was a deadly disease. What did he do? He's on tape as acknowledging he knew it. He said he didn't tell us or give people a warning
Dad said
because he
Trump
didn't want
didn't
to
do
panic
too well,
American
so
people.
he said the
You
market
don't
might go
panic.
down
He
tomorrow,
panicked.
but I
In
don't
addition
know.
to that, what did he do? He went in and we were insisting that the Chinese, the people we had on the ground in China should be able to go to Wuhan and determine for themselves how dangerous this was. He did not even ask Xi to do that. He told us what a great job Xi was doing. He said we owe him a debt of gratitude for being so transparent with us. And what did he do then? He then did nothing. He waited and waited and waited. He still doesn't have a plan.
Well,
I laid out
sir,
back in
it's 2
March
minutes.
exactly what we should be doing. And I laid out again in July what we should be doing. We should be providing all the protective gear possible. We should be providing the money the House has passed in order to be able to go out and get people the help they need to keep their businesses open schools that cost a lot of money.
Seems
You should
pretty
get out of your
poised.
bunker and get out of the sand trap and get in your golf course and go in the Oval Office and bring together the Democrats and Republicans and fund what needs to be done now to save lives.
So if
Wait,
we would have listened to
you have 2 minutes, sir.
if we would have listened to you, the country would have been left wide open. Millions of people would have died, not 200,000, and one person is too much. It's China's fault.
I
It should have
had
never
COVID,
happened.
actually,
They stopped it from
a couple
going
months
in, but
ago.
it was China's fault. And by the way, when you talk about numbers, you don't know how many people died in China. You don't know how many people died in Russia. You don't know how many people died in India. They don't exactly give you a straight count, just so you understand. But if you look at what we've done, I closed it, and you said he's xenophobic. He's a racist, and he's xenophobic because you didn't think I should have closed our country. Wait a minute.
It says 2 minutes.
You didn't think we should have closed our country because you thought it was terrible. You wouldn't have closed it for another 2 months. By my doing it early, in fact, Dr. Fauci said President Trump saved thousands of lives. Many of you Democrat governors said President Trump did a phenomenal job. We worked with the governor. Oh, really? Go take a look. The governors said I did a phenomenal job. Most of them said that. In fact, people that would not be necessarily on my side said that. President Trump did a phenomenal job. We did. We got the gowns. We got the masks. We made the ventilators. You wouldn't have made ventilators. And now we're weeks away from a vaccine. We're doing therapeutics already. Fewer people are dying when they get sick. Far fewer people are dying. We've done a great job. The only thing I haven't done a good job, and that's because of the fake news. No matter what you say to them, they give you bad press on it. It's just fake news.
It's true.
They give you good press. They give me bad press because that's the way it is, unfortunately. But let me just tell you something. I don't care. I've gotten used to it. But I'll tell you, Joe, you could never have done the job that we did. You don't have it in your blood. You could have never done that job.
I know how to do the job. I know how to get the job
Well, you didn't do very well in swine flu. H1N1, you were a disaster. Your own chief of staff said you were a disaster.
14,000 people died, not 200,000. There was
A
no
very-
economic recession.
Sir, you made a
There was
There was no
lethal
recession.
disease.
you made a point. Let him answer.
And there was no one. We didn't shut down the economy. This is his economy he shut down. The reason it's shut down is because, look, you folks at home, how many of you got up this morning and had an empty chair at the kitchen table because someone died of COVID? How many of you were in a situation where you lost your mom or dad and you couldn't even speak to them? You had a nurse holding a phone up so you could, in fact, say
You
goodbye.
would have lost far
How
more
many
So
people?
I'm in
Far more
healthcare,
people.
and
You would have been
And by the way,
months later.
actually
his
a
own
lot of
his
people
own
I know have
CDC
died,
director
and a
says
lot of people I
we
know
could
have
lose
gotten
as many as
COVID.
another 200,000
Me
people between
personally,
now
like
and the end
it
of the year.
wasn't.
And he held up. He
I've
said,
been way
if we just
sicker
wear a
before.
mask, we can save half those
But I was
numbers. Just
definitely
a
not
mask.
feeling well
And
for
by
a
the way,
couple
in
weeks.
terms of the whole
I
notion
just
of a
describe it as
vaccine,
a major
we're for a
general
vaccine, but I
malaise,
don't trust him at
and
all, nor do you. I
but
know
I
you
definitely
do.
know a
What
lot
we
of
trust
people
is a
that
scientist.
have
You don't
died.
trust
I mean,
Dr.
Johnson
Fauci.
Johnson, Pfizer.
honestly,
Okay,
I
by the
know
way,
gentlemen,
and
gentlemen, let
close
me
to
move
10
on.
people. What is this? That was it?
I'm asking you to make a donation before the September FEC deadline so that we can.
Straight.
Trump, sir.
During the Obama-Biden administration, there was tremendous division. There was hatred. You look at Ferguson. You go to very many places. Look at Oakland. Look what happened in Oakland. Look what happened in Baltimore. Look what happened. Frankly, it was more violent than what I'm even seeing now.
Oh, my
but the
Lord.
reason
This
is that
ridiculous.
the Democrats that run these
Absolutely
cities
ridiculous.
don't want to talk like you about law and order.
Violent
and you
crime,
still haven't mentioned.
violent
Are you
crime.
in favor of law and order?
I'm in favor of law. You follow
Are you in
it, and a
favor
little
of
bid
law and order? Go
Yes,
ahead,
I'm
say
in
it.
favor.
You asked a question, let him finish.
Law and order.
He loses
Law
left.
and
Let him.
order.
Let him.
Law and order with justice, where people get treated fairly. And the fact of the matter is, violent crime went down 17%, 15% in our administration.
All right.
It's gone up on his watch.
Went down much more
he
in
had-
ours.
All right, we're
He
down.
is
You're,
president of
Mr.
the
President,
United
you're going
States
to.
of America.
Mr. President,
every record in the
Mr.
book.
President, you're going to be very happy because
And
we're now going to
excuse
talk
me,
about law and order.
Places we had trouble were Democratic-run cities.
That's
and
exactly
so
my
is
question.
Democratic-
There has been a dramatic increase in homicides in America this summer, particularly, and you often blame that on Democratic mayors and Democratic governors, but in fact, there have been equivalent spikes in Republican-led cities like Tulsa and Fort Worth. So the question is this really a party issue?
I think it's a party issue. You can bring in a couple of examples, but if you look at Chicago, what's going on in Chicago, where 53 people were shot and 8 died shot. If you look at New York, where it's going up like nobody's ever seen anything, the numbers are going up 100, 150, 200% crime. It is
cities.
crazy what's going on. And he doesn't want to say law and order because he can't, because he'll lose his radical left supporters. And once he does that, it's over with. But if he ever got to run this country and they ran it the way he would want to run it, we would have our suburbs would be gone. By the way, our suburbs would be gone. And you would see problems like you've
He
never
wouldn't
seen.
know a suburb unless he took a wrong turn.
Oh, I know suburbs.
He would
so
not.
much
I was
better.
raised.
Go ahead. Wait a minute.
I was raised in the suburbs. This is not 1950. All these dog whistles on racism don't work anymore. Suburbs are by and large integrated. There's many people today driving their kids to soccer practice and/or to black and white and Hispanic in the same car as there have been any time in the past. What really is a threat to the suburbs and their safety is his failure to deal with COVID. They're dying in the suburbs. His failure to deal with the environment. They're being flooded. They're being burned out because
I mean, you
his
can only do
refusal
so
to do
much,
anything.
though.
That's
I mean,
why
where I
the
work,
suburbs are in trouble.
I do want to talk
You
about
know,
this issue of law and order, though. And in
strenuous,
the joint recommendation that came from the Biden-Bernie
amount of trying to
Sanders
stop
task
it, but I
force,
mean,
you talk
dude, it's a
about,
virus.
quote,
Okay, you can only do so
reimagining
much. I mean,
policing.
you can't pin every
First of all, what does
death of a
reimagining
virus.
policing
I
mean? And do you
You
support?
just can't do
means-
that.
Let me, if I
I mean,
might finish
to
the
some
question.
extent,
What does reimagining policing mean?
but,
And do you
no.
support the Black Lives Matter
I don't know.
call for community control of policing?
Look, what I support is the police having the opportunity to deal with the problems they face. And I'm totally opposed to defunding the police officers. As a matter of fact, local police, the only one defunding it, his budget calls for a $400 million cut in local law enforcement assistance. They need more assistance. They need, when they show up for a 9/11 call, to have someone with them as a psychologist or psychiatrist to keep them from having to use force and be able to talk people down. We have to have community policing like we had before, where the officers get to know the people in the communities. That's when crime went down. It didn't go up, it went down. And so we have to be engaged.
That's not what they're talking about, Chris. That's
Well,
not what
that-
He's
that's
talking about
exactly-
defunding the police.
That is not true.
He doesn't have any
Would-
law
Would you
support.
look?
He has no law enforcement
That's not
support.
true.
Almost
That's
nothing.
not. Look,
Oh, really? Who do you have? Name one group that supports you. Name one group that came out and supported you. Go
Look,
ahead.
look.
Think. We have time.
we don't have time to do
No,
anything.
no, think
so
All right.
listen,
All right,
Name
folks,
one law
folks.
enforcement group that came
I
out
think,
and
I
supported
think, gentlemen,
you.
I think I'm going to take back the
There
moderator's
aren't. I don't
role,
think there
and
are any.
I want to get to another subject.
All right. That was just a little bit. All right. Peace.